Hey, this is Crow Inquisitors, and we are here for Season 6. The last 3 seasons of this game are all in the same place, slowly going towards the same goal. They feel very different from the first 3 seasons, but we've gotten trait votes, right? The arcs have continued to play out and evolve, so it is new arc time. And this involves a trait vote. We're going to figure out a last trait vote for the game. It's possible we talk a little bit about, like, when we hit the epilogue, any last god level traits you guys want to get or would evolve into, what your characters end up being. That's fine. But for now, Theo's been gearing to get this white shaded face for the entire game, and I think we're finally going to get
all
it.
I have. That's all I have.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about a trait vote. So typically in Burning Wheel, this is the point of the game where we evaluate a character's traits and figure out, and kind of their beliefs and instincts, and figure out, like, are there traits that are no longer relevant for the character? Should we add traits that are relevant for the character? Like, has the character been playing towards certain things? Should we evolve traits into higher power? Like, has a character trait become so important to the character that it should be a mechanical die trait? Is there a belief or instinct that has evolved into being such a permanent part of the character that it should become a trait? Those are all things to consider here. Another consideration I want to have when we do this is, are there traits that we added just because we wanted to add a bunch of traits to you guys? And can we winnow those down because you guys have so many traits? Like, if there's a couple of them that are just like, yeah, we put this down here because, like, it would be cool, but we've never used it once and it's not really that important, we should get rid of those traits. But let's go ahead and take a look. Let's just go in order here. So Cantarius, we'll start with you. Here's a question. Do we wanna? No, yeah, let's start with traits. Let's start the trait vote. Do you want to read off your traits for us there, Connor? Everyone should have access to this character sheet, so you should be able to, like, pop it up yourselves. That'll be the easiest way to do this. Sorry, okay. I went to the wrong thing.
Okay. Gifted for the sensory discipline, gifted for the intellectual discipline, gifted for the
missed your character
discipline.
traits.
Intimidating, weight of the world, authoritative, foreign blood, broken soul, ear for voices, iron will, second sight, tenacious, feared, affinity for demons, aura of martyrdom, black lung, spirit walker. Wait, what was spirit walker?
That was the one that allows you to go and follow the tether.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I just never gave it an official description yet.
Sure. Dreadful, driven, aura of determination, scavenger, and resigned to death.
Cool.
I think the only one that I haven't actually used yet is tenacious, and that's because no one's tried to seduce me. But I don't think it's
Iron Will is different from Tenacious.
Who would try to seduce
they're both
you?
Similar. Yeah. Yeah, Tenacious is about a duel of wits. I don't really see
I haven't done either.
Cantarius getting into a duel of wits at any point for any reason whatsoever.
Not necessarily. I can see it. I actually think it's no. I don't want to say it.
I think he means more like I don't know that you would
getting
win
into
one,
but he would. Oh, dang it! You beat me to it.
Sorry.
Wait, what did he say?
We both started trying to say that you would get into one, but I don't think you'd win one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Connor, you can use intimidation sometimes, right?
Yeah, he can.
I use intimidation a lot.
Yeah.
No, I mean in
a duel of wits.
I think you can use intimidation for some of them.
I see I see a scenario where this is relevant.
Okay. Let's maybe do this first. Let's kind of categorize these briefly. Because I think, like, some of them, there are a bunch of them that are just the same thing. So, like, for example, you have intimidation. You have a bunch of intimidation traits. You have I'm gonna die traits. You have magic traits. And then you have, like, tough guy traits.
Tough guy traits.
It's like Tenacious and Iron Will. Are there any of these that we feel like
driven or of determination? Those are all. Oh no, actually
Right.
driven. Well, driven is still a tough guy trait, but for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Because I want to kill the demons.
I don't want to necessarily like I'm not trying to nerf you guys or insist that you must get rid of traits just for the heck of it. But if there are any of these that we feel like we can combine, that like one part of it isn't as important, that would be
Black Lung
cool.
doesn't seem very useful. Let's get rid of that one.
You could, I mean, at the very least,
Thanks,
I think
David.
we should maybe evolve that one into something.
Evolve
Right.
it. That sounds
sounds bad.
This is
No, yeah, have it get worse, right?
Now you just have cancer. Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyone else have any ideas? We can add traits after we talk about like the existing traits, but
I mean, have you used Scavenger at all? I don't remember that.
I don't think so. That was one I was thinking of.
No, I have not used scavenging in a long time. Actually, I haven't used scavenging hardly throughout the campaign,
Yeah.
but that
was the only
it
one.
was a burning wheel thing that, like me having scavenging was.
It was not very relevant for the campaign type we were playing.
Yeah.
No, but it was
tried
what my
to make
character
it work in season
did.
1, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tried to make my character work in season 1 by using the skills I had, but then failed because that's how burning wheel works. So.
Yeah, that's the only one I feel like that has mechanics behind it that doesn't have its own thing. There's a lot of character traits, but like I don't know that getting rid of those really does anything.
Well, yeah, I think like I think we should get rid of intimidating. Intimidating is just the same character trait as
I mean he has that.
Yeah, I don't know why he still has
Same
that.
thing with Weight of the World, like Resigned to Death. I feel like is kind of like a better version of that.
I think we should get rid. So let's write these down. The ones that we're thinking. Okay, so I'm thinking we should get rid of intimidating. Weight of the World, because you already have traits for all of that stuff. Authoritative, I think maybe.
I mean, Aura of Determination is basically just a better version of that, right? Yeah, and you basically have better versions of all of these.
I think so. Sure. Yeah. And then Broken Soul, we should figure out a trait that combines that one and Black Lung into a like magical disease trait that's like maybe a little bit more progressed at this point. As long as you're fine with that, trait. Connor. Like I think
well, the like hoarder in me that doesn't drink any potions makes me want to keep them. So look back on all the traits I've had over the years. That's the only reason I really care for it.
Yeah.
I don't get fate points for these.
I think the next time we do a Burning Wheel campaign, we should copy the character sheets. Well, no, we should copy the character sheets into a folder every time we do a session so that we can look back and be like, session X. Yeah, because that's one thing I've been thinking about with Burning Wheel. The characters change so consistently every session, slowly, that eventually you're like, man, what did I start off with this?
This is what I was thinking of, something for Bonds that I wanted to have, like basically a part of the character sheet that's just a journal where whenever you complete a belief or not a belief, a trait, right? Whenever it evolves, you would write it down as what it was. And then each sort of like incremental stuff.
Oh, you know what? There's a part on the character sheet for this. In the Burning Wheel character sheet, there's a little journal that has retired beliefs and instincts and traits log.
There you go. Yeah, because I was thinking of that exact thing where it's like, your character's changing, cool things are happening, but like, what if you don't play for 2 months and you just forget everything about who you are?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's especially what Burning Wheel wants us to do here is evolve character traits into die traits. So I think, are you putting those in right now, Connor? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so those ones I think can go, because they're all the same. And I think that's what we'll probably do for a lot of you is like double check those character traits and make sure there's not a copy of it in a die trait somewhere.
It was intimidating, authoritative, and what's the third one?
Weight of the World and Broken Soul, I think, are all ones we'll probably get rid of if you're fine, as long as you're fine with that.
Those are all character traits, right?
All just character traits, yeah.
They're basically just all traits that you have die traits for. That
you have die trait versions
say it's the same kind of thing, but better.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you have Foreign Blood. I don't know if that one really matters either. Like, I don't think we've talked about Kentari. Like, it's up to you. I don't know if we've talked about Kentari as being part Tekoni or had that be an important part of the character.
It's still true.
Yeah.
So I don't know that
but I don't know if it needs to be a character trait, right?
I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
Technically, things
I don't
can
see
be.
I don't see the issue with having it. I guess I don't see how
You can
this
have
really
it. That's
changes
fine.
anything.
You can keep it if you want to. Mainly, I'm looking for ways the game is telling us like you should see this evolution with your character. Character trees usually turn into die traits. It seems Bernie Will likes us to evolve things rather than just add multiples of the same concept. It should be like
Sure.
my character is intimidating, and here's the one trait that encapsulates that fact about me,
Sure.
as opposed to
Sure.
5 different ones.
I mean, it's definitely true that it hasn't evolved in any way, but I don't necessarily know that it needs to be removed.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine.
It's just my thought.
I can agree with that. It's still true.
Yeah, we definitely haven't done anything about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and that's part of it is like traits that don't like they can be true. They can be true about your character. Like there's plenty of things that are true about all of your characters that don't have traits associated with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess the idea of character traits is that it's truer about your character than most, and I don't know if that's true.
If you have the handsome trait, you're the most handsome, right?
Right. So I don't know that he's the most foreign, but it doesn't matter.
Right. But up to you, Connor. Would you want to keep it or toss it?
Just keep it.
Yep, that's my thing. Obviously, we have. I think we're aware of the disciplines you guys have because it's on the skills. It's in your skills, so let's just get rid of all.
I thought the traits
versions.
were prerequisites for the skills.
They are, but I think we'll just gifted. There's no reason to have to clutter up the character sheet more with that, honestly. Just for my own personal looking at the trait lists or reading them off. Right, because all those are there.
Yeah.
Ear for voices.
I used that when I met my uncle.
You did. The thing about ear for voices though is like you already have a magic version of the skill. It's fine. I guess the important part of it is the character always remembers a voice and is able to pick out conversation. Yeah. Always remembers a voice is definitely a very Cantarius thing. That's fine. Yeah. I don't know if there's a reason we need to get rid of that. Iron Will
That
and
voice.
Tenacious.
I remember him. He's the one that stole Appa.
I love how many times that episode is like quoted in our gaming sessions. Listening back through Orphans recently, the moment where like we got out of the like tornado or whatever and came back out and the school bus was wrecked and we're somebody stole Appa.
You said to put a muzzle on him.
Mm-mm. That's what it was. It's like you tried to muzzle Appa. Yeah. Iron Will and Tenacious.
Surprised by that. Appa's an enormous bison.
I know.
Only
he wasn't surprised. He was angry. Like how cruel are you?
He's like, how unreasonable of you? And it's like, no, that's like probably the most reasonable thing they could have done.
No, not
try and steal.
Not
Appa.
reasonable. Like what he wasn't thinking in terms of like, of course they'd have to muzzle him. He was thinking, I can't believe you did that to my bison. That was evil.
Well,
but it's like, it's not like a jump of logic. It's just he's just absolutely frustrated.
It's an adding to what's the term I'm looking for? Yeah, insult to injury, right? It's like not only did you steal, but also I'm realizing that to steal them, you would have had to put a muzzle on, and that's terrible. Don't do that, right?
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Anyways.
Iron Will and Tenacious, they both seem like they are true about Cantarius. And again, I'm not trying to nerf. Do we have any thoughts on those two traits?
I think it's fine. I think if they do different things, it's fine to keep them.
They are pretty different, yeah. I do really like Tenacious. I think if we do get a Duel of Wits with Cantarius, this will be really cool to see in action. Basically, if his body of arguments is reduced to 0, the trait pulls it back to 1 die. It's like the orc death move.
Oh, yeah.
For Duel of Wits.
I think of Cantarius with those traits. He just has like main character, like anime protagonist energy, where he's like, my magic is never giving up.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. In a funny
ultra.
Yeah, in a funny way, Cantarius is the most like shonen anime protagonist character we have in that sense, at least.
He's the one that has the most revenge like story.
and the most
True.
power of determination.
Yeah, but he's the
Yeah.
weakest, which is also an anime protagonist trope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not whingy though. I don't think he's whingy enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ooh,
He's
here's
definitely
an
a side
idea,
character.
Connor.
And you're not voiced by a woman, so
True. That's another good point. Yeah.
Where did I put my
That's it, guys. I've decided that Mickey is now going to. I'm going to write down any line I say, and then Mickey is just going to voice act it.
just
for me.
get Mickey to say a few things, and then create an AI engine
clone.
There
voice,
you
and then
go,
just
yeah.
type whatever you say
Yeah,
into the AI voice engine.
that would
That'd be
actually
fun.
be kind of cool if we did that for like characters in like maybe like a one shot or something.
Yeah,
But
if the AI, if you
suck
can find one
to
that sounds
all-
good.
Yeah.
And doesn't cost a bajillion ducats to
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Run.
they're
for the amount of
expensive.
time we need. Real quick, Connor, I had an idea for an upgrade of a trait that I think will, in some ways, combine a lot of these. What if we upgrade Second Sight to Celestial Sight? This is the one that Sergio had. Those with Celestial Sight do not see as mortals do. No visible light affects their eyes. Instead, their vision is confined to the realm of auras. They see the pure auric emanations given off by life, arcana, and ephemera.
I say no. I don't think there's enough of a reason for that to happen.
I think that'd be cool, but I'm not sure why. How that would have come
so
about.
My suggestion was this is an evolution of not only Second Sight but also Black Lung and Broken Soul. Right? It's that the thing is starting to destroy your body, and now you can no longer see. It would also be a cool kind of final reversal for Cantarius all the way back to I'm a blind man.
Can't see again.
Right?
Technically.
It doesn't really right.
If we play to it during the thing to the point where where it occurs in the narrative, I think that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe maybe the opening shot to this last season or whatever is like black veins in Cantarius' eyes.
Right. Yeah.
And
so then
we get a shot where one of the veins like reaches his eye and it just like turns white.
Or black.
Yeah, maybe his eyes are just solid black.
I think I described Sergio's as either black or gray. So the other things it says is you can see the auras of spellcraft, you can detect a spell, blah 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 blah. Oh, that's interesting. Celestial Sight as opposed to Second Sight. Celestial Sight grants the ability to use the aura reading skill. It doesn't just allow you to use it if you happen to have the aura reading skill. It just maybe it's saying the same thing. The interesting thing at the end here is lastly, Celestial Sight counts as observation and suffers no obstacles for darkness.
Nice.
So you can just like see in darkness as normal, right?
Let's go.
I think that would be super cool. And it would give us both an upgrade for Cantarius and a visible sign of like, oh, he's slowly getting just like his body's being ruined by this, right? But if we want to, like, I would be fine with if we wanted to play out one of the first sessions here, that slowly happening. Like,
yeah, I feel like it probably would be weird to start with it already being the case.
We can put it on his character trait and then play into it, and right, cool. Get to a point. Yeah, or I'm imagining Connor,
but
the next couple sessions, I'm imagining like. We have Cantarius just start like kind of blinking and like looking down and like rubbing his eye, like something's going weird, and like maybe Theo notices at some point there's like black veins running up your face, and then at one point you just like maybe during you're using magic or something, right? Suddenly your eyes just right, and what do we think?
Yeah, I mean,
pop a blood vessel.
I think that I think that works.
Okay,
I'm fine
cool.
with that. I mean, if that sounds interesting, that's fine.
I think your hair should start falling out. I feel like I can just see Cantarius just starting to turn into he's turning into like a sickly guy, but his hair is just falling out. I just feel like
he starts.
That's what Cantarius is, because isn't he dying?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I feel like he needs to go bald. It's just gotta happen.
Well,
I feel like I've imagined Cantarius as bald since the beginning. I don't know why.
Same. There was like such a long time where I was like, I imagine him kind of bald.
He's like ancient in my head. I don't know why.
I've never imagined Dallin this bald.
Oh, really?
And he actually is, and that's so funny.
I still don't picture him as
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, yeah. Still don't picture him as that.
That's fair.
I'm pretty sure that was like a joke suggestion at the very beginning of the game, and it just became like the real suggestion.
Yeah. Okay, I'll play Vin Diesel.
It's like, what bald actor do I know?
Yeah, right. It was either The Rock or Vin Diesel. So.
Exactly. And Vin Diesel, I think, is actually Italian, so
there you go.
That seemed to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong about that, but I think he is.
Or I could have done Bruce Willis.
Ooh,
yeah.
I feel like Bruce Willis makes more sense.
He might.
Like a young Bruce Willis.
So
Connor,
I can never imagine Vin Diesel playing your character. He doesn't have enough of a range of emotions in my head.
I got to be honest. I think I imagined Dylan is David. That's pretty much how I've imagined him the whole time.
Probably how I imagined. I don't know what I imagined as Vin Diesel either. I think the reason I picked Vin Diesel was because he played, other than being bald, he played like a witch hunter in something, and it seems sort of appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Connor,
anyway.
Are you fine with us getting rid of Black Lung, or do we want to? Because I was thinking of like just subsuming all of your magic dying stuff into that one celestial site.
Yeah.
I like the idea that like maybe for a moment, maybe like a session, like your cough goes away and you're feeling good, right?
Sure.
And but we see these black veins going across your face, and then eventually it's like, oh, I see what's happening.
It's just
evolving.
Spread.
Yeah, it's spread somewhere else. Yeah. Okay, cool. Obviously feared and intimidate affinity for demons are going to be most relevant in this next arc. So we would not want to touch those. And then Aura of Martyrdom, we still want everyone's still cool with that one. I mean, I want to see Cantarius' bones turn into a relic.
Yeah. I feel like he's been playing to it, so it makes sense.
Yeah. I want someone. I've wanted ever since we started playing Burning Wheel. This is the trait I've wanted someone to get because I want their bones to become a magic relic. I think that's so cool. And the description for the trait is so funny. We all want it. Not that we do anything to speed the process along. Okay. Dreadful is the one we evolved Intimidating to officially. So that's cool. And that feels like one we can still get Artha for, right? Like him being dreadful could like scare an innocent person, or right, like there's still intimidating as a character trait doesn't cease.
Dreadful's also a call-on, right?
It is a call-on.
Distinctly useful as opposed to other things.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is like it's distinctly useful, but I don't see us getting rid of the intimidating die trait. I don't think, or character trait. I don't think that hampers his ability to earn Artha for that same concept.
Yeah.
Do we want to get rid of scavenger then? That call-on trait?
I mean, we can. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like getting in the way or anything. I just feel like maybe, like obviously Cantarius is good at scavenging, but is he so good at scavenging as a call-on for it when he hasn't been practicing it forever, right?
That's fine. Yeah, we can get rid of it.
I don't know who Eric Bana is.
Like, so you obviously still have the skill. It's just that call-ons are like those things that your character is so good at that like in a moment of desperation you can like re-roll your dice. I don't really see that being a relevant thing for Cantarius. Even if he does have to make a scavenging test, it's not going to be so important of a role in the campaign that like a call-on would feel like necessary, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. And I think the rest are good. Like obviously Driven, you want to keep that because you can kill demons with it, right? Or of Determination is pretty much the most quintessential Cantarius trait in the whole game. And then Resigned to Death is a good one too. Obviously it's similar to Aura of Martyrdom, but it's like a complementary and not an overlap, I feel. Because Aura of Martyrdom like gives you points while you're going towards a defeat, like a lost cause. Whereas Resigned to Death gives you like a seal test to where things are hopeless, which is super cool. All right, cool. Are there any other traits that we feel, and any other concepts or things that Cantarius is doing specifically in this last arc that we feel need to be mechanically represented and like add a trait?
Which ones did we yet?
I think so. Well, so far we've just taken them off. We just sort of like condensed.
We evolved.
them.
We evolved one into
yeah.
a second sight into celestial sight
Is
has
that
been
it?
changed. So one has changed, but
Yeah, we haven't really.
and I'd be fine if we didn't add any. But I want to give
I
it the
can't think
opportunity.
of any, but it doesn't necessarily. I don't know all the traits, so I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that
Right.
would work.
I think the probably the easiest way to think through this is like, what has Cantarius done in the last arc that and does any of that not fit into what his current traits are, right? Like things that we feel his characters lived up to. The one main thing is like this whole like revenge thing with Faustus and like your friends dying and wanting to like.
Yeah, he's got that weird like
that.
my friends always die when I'm not there kind of thing that I feel like could be. I don't know if there's a trait about being there when it matters kind of thing, then maybe that would make sense. But
I feel like
I can think of abilities in other games.
Aura of Martyrdom and Resigned to Death hits some of that stuff. Though, yeah, I am wondering if there is like another trait that's kind of along those lines. You have any thoughts, Connor?
Sorry, I missed the. What are we referring to?
We're talking about this whole thing with Cantarius where he's like worried his friends are going to die without him there.
Are you saying should that be a trait?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, right? On like what
maybe.
kind of thing is going on there? Is it something that's already encapsulated, yeah, by one of these traits, or is there something else going on there that we could add to Cantarius' list here? Like what's the motivation for that? Like why are you like that? And is it so important to your character that we should add something?
Like is there like a defender trait that you could take or something like that?
Like I feel like
Aura of Martyrdom, I suppose.
Aura of Martyrdom feels like it gets there a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose a martyrdom thing like that makes sense conceptually.
Like there's the trait loyal, but that's like Cantarius isn't really loyal to any of you in the same way because like this is about like a character. Well, I guess it could be. I've always used this trait to be like I am kind of like slightly below you, and I'm like your loyal servant or your loyal knight or whatever. I guess it doesn't have to be that way. But I feel like I don't know if Cantarius. Do you have a particular loyalty to any of the characters?
I think so. I mean, especially Theo, probably. But I don't know if it needs to be a trait. I see it. It could be, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like we've just started to get that almost because we got that moment with like Cantarius like being like, oh man, I respect Theo in a way that I didn't before. That might be something that if everything goes well with Cantarius somehow by the end of this game and he's still alive and still like in a good place, I could see him like becoming Theo's like
best man
buddy. Kind of like, well, yeah, in that sense, like becoming Theo's like companion, where Theo's kind of the one who's calling the shots now, as like a patron saint or some powerful priest or whatever, and Cantarius is helping him out. But I don't know if we're there yet. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we haven't yet like hit some particular concept clearly enough to add anything. Just kind of scanning through all this stuff. Yeah, I think if you're fine with the traits you have right now, Connor, I think we might be good. I don't know if we need to add anything else.
I'm good. Yeah, I don't really see a. Yeah.
Yep. That might be something that we just play out a little bit more in beliefs before it becomes anything more. Dylan, take a look at yours. Do we have any of these that have very evolved? Any of these traits? We could probably get off. Wait, you have believer. Yeah, we can probably remove religious. You have faithful and believer and tonsured and sworn to the church. Like, I feel like it's pretty clear that you're religious.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know that haughty makes a lot of. I mean, he's not really haughty. He's maybe a little pretentious, but or like
I feel like that one has really mellowed out.
Yeah.
Over the last couple arcs here.
Yeah.
Like especially like that moment with like Dellen going to Theo and be like, "You crazy monster! Like come here!" Like he's not a very he's much more down to earth person than I think he was.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I'd be fine with getting rid of haughty and religious. Do we think that early riser / disciplined / prominent scar are important enough to keep around?
I mean, early riser hasn't come up in a long time, but I think there was one time when we were asking who got up first, and I was like, probably me. But
I think maybe early riser, at the very least, early riser and discipline should both not be on your character sheet. They're the same. Like I think early riser could be subsumed into disciplined,
sure,
because that's just
fine.
Part of being disciplined. But then I guess the question is like, I could see being disciplined being an important enough part of Dellen's character to keep around.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm curious then, is there an evolution of that we could see? Like I wonder.
I don't know. I don't know that his discipline and nature has developed very much specifically.
That's true.
Like I mean, I think he still is, but I don't know that it's done any growing specifically.
That makes sense to me. What about your prominent scar? You want to keep that around? Obviously, it would still be true, but
yeah, I mean, I don't even remember what it is, honestly.
It was you described it as like a big cut up your chest and then like all the way up towards your like neck.
Was that a thing I got from
the war?
The war, yeah. Well, then let's keep it around just because it's recent enough that it would be weird, I think, to get rid of it now.
Yep. Okay, so we can get rid of haughty, religious, early riser. This makes sense to me. You obviously still have a shaved head, so you're still tonsured. You still have all that.
I don't know that any of these make sense to me to get rid of, except for like, and there was one that was a dual wits thing that I probably won't ever get to use. Dominating presence. It made sense when we got it. I think it still does. I just don't know that I'll ever use it.
Yeah.
Unlike Cantarius, I don't see a situation where I dual wits. Yeah. So.
Let's see,
I mean, we can leave it. I don't have any problem with it. I just, if you're worried about the bloat, I probably won't ever use it.
In a duel of wits, in the case of rebuttal, versus point. Attempting to dismiss his opponent is making a point, and the bishop player makes his point and rolls his dice first. If he fails to win the duel, then the other player may respond. Okay. I mean, it's one of those things where I was like, I could see Dellen having this, but also I feel like there might be a better trait to get across the same idea that's more Dellen specific.
Sure. I mean, I have commanding aura, right? Which I think is probably that one.
Yeah. Like another thing might be like a call on for command or something. That'd
be cool,
right?
I mean, I'd take as many call-ons as I can get. Call-ons
yeah. I mean, they're great. I just feel like that feels way more helpful and relevant.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me see if I can find. Ooh, you know what we should do? Let's give you if you guys are fine with it, let's give Dellen booming voice.
Okay, that sounds good. That's one you can use for oratory or command, right?
Yes, yeah. It's his character's voice cuts through walls and overpowers other speakers. This is a call on for conspicuous, oratory, or command. Pick one. That seems like a fun one for Dellen to have, because like dominating presence, I feel like it's less that Dellen has like this like kind of domineering presence as a bishop, but what's more important about Dellen, as we saw through the last arc, is that he's a battlefield commander who can take charge in a pinch. And like we saw Dellen do a lot of booming voice stuff in the last arc.
True. Yeah, I agree.
Are we all fine with that? Sound cool?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Booming voice command.
Yes, sir.
And obviously we already have the best traits for Dellen: deadly precision and nimble.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to give you any more sword related traits.
I don't even know if there are any that are
you can get driven. You can get driven as a call on for sword, but I don't think we need that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if anything drives him, it's that. But I mean, yeah,
Yeah, you'd have to choose like a specific. I guess you could do driven for on my blade of my life, like
True.
tied
I mean,
to
I do
that
have one that's inherently about killing people.
Yeah,
So
but I just feel like that's like too much sword. Delin doesn't need any more sword.
A little bit excessive, maybe.
Any other thing that seems cool or important about Delin's character that we could add to this list?
I don't feel like anything's missing, but
yeah, Delin's a pretty tightly.
Yeah, I mean he kills things, and I've got those. So
you kill things and you're religious. I think we got all those all covered.
I got those covered. Yeah,
yeah. Sweet. All right. Alphonse.
That would be
Alphonse.
me.
Okay, so obviously you have like a bajillion gifted, so we can just make into one. Okay, gifted. So yours is the one that I'm wondering about primarily, honestly. So you have let's go through these character traits one at a time. So you have rabble rouser. I guess you don't have an oratory thing. Yeah, rabble rouser I could see sticking around. Or evolving. I think you mentioned, Jared, that haughty might go away. I think I might agree. Like Alphonse is still Alphonse, but I don't know if he's as explicitly haughty and like pretentious about anything. He's been humbled in the last arc for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Spirit Walker, I just don't have anymore. That's
true. Yeah, that got removed as a cost. Yeah. Are we down with getting rid of haughty? Everyone agree that Alphonse has been humbled somewhat?
Yeah, I think that was a cultural one to begin with. So
it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
It's been cool, honestly, to see all those cultural traits like slowly be whittled away as you guys have become either for Delin, like it's been subsumed into more important things. So like I am so religious that I have all these die traits for it, or right. Alphonse, where it's like slowly kind of like going away as he becomes a more mellow, like reasonable person. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It just might.
Yeah, that one and what was it? Not rapier wit. Tall tale teller could probably be.
It just might work, and tall tale teller.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, the three that I think are connected there that I'm want to put towards the class. I'm curious about is we have it just might work. Tall tale teller and glib. So it just might work as a character trait that's just like, man, he comes up with crazy stuff. Tall tale teller is like he's always coming up with random tales and he gets a +1 die to certain skills if he can come up with that appropriate tall tale. Glib is a call on for soothing platitudes, falsehood, and seduction because he's a believable storyteller. Do we think those are close enough that they should be subsumed somewhat, or are they all different enough that?
I mean, narratively they seem pretty similar, but they do things differently, different mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an awful sentence. They do different things mechanically. So I don't know. It would be kind of like a little bit of a nerf to just take him away. Unless the new one was better in some way, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about, is there like a die trait evolved version of it just might work? Because I think they might be different enough. Like it just might work is specifically about like coming up with plans as opposed to coming up with tall tales.
Right.
So that might be. I hesitate to even mention that this trait exists, but there is a trait that I'm wondering about for Alphonse and this it just might work thing. There's a trait called genius.
Yeah, I like that one.
Well, let me read it off. Your every idea is unique and brilliant. Every plan surefire and flawless. It's only a matter of time before such brilliance is properly recognized and rewarded. Genius is a call-on for one non-martial or athletic skill of the player's choosing. So you get to choose one skill, and it can't be martial or athletic, but any other skills on the table.
Wow, that's disgusting. Yeah, I mean that seems good enough that you might be able to to take one or two of them and count them as that if it was the right skill.
Well, I think it would be like it just might work evolving into that.
Or I mean, what skill would you put into that?
I don't know. Would you have an idea, Jared? I'm thinking it might be a magic skill, right?
Yeah, I was probably maybe essential. Because that one's kind of my go-to for buffs, attack, and...
Yeah, that one doesn't feel...
And it's the one I've used by far the most.
I agree, but it doesn't feel as dynamic as like the times you use it just might work aren't because you give someone a buff or yourself a buff with magic. It's when you teleport to heaven with spatial discipline or take off the belt of the king with a spatial discipline. Yeah. I feel like it might be spatial discipline.
I mean, yeah,
that was the one I thought. It's the most like crazy one.
Right. That feels kind of cool to me. I don't think it makes sense. It would just be us giving Alphonse a power up straight up to do genius essential discipline. I don't think there's a single time that Alphonse has done something crazy with essential discipline. It's just been I can do my other thing better, right?
Yeah, it's probably the opposite of that, really. Instead of doing a crazy thing, you're doing the reasonable thing and making that thing more likely.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, spatial discipline I feel like is a good candidate for that. You down with that?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
We've also seen most of your crazy ideas work, at least somewhat.
That's true. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's cheap where you're like
not really a stretch,
he was like unlucky and now we gave him like it's like no the plans worked.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think that's a pretty cool one. And genius definitely just seems like a good Jared trait. That he would be wanting to work towards anyway if he had known it existed.
I am a genius.
That's not what I'm saying. You're the power gamer in you. Here's a question. Rabble rouser or licentious? Is Alphonse still licentious? Has this last incest kind of like burned it out of you?
You got it out of your system yet, Alphonse?
Yeah, having Connor murder a child, one child be possessed by a demon, and also be, my sister's child, and sleeping with my mom might have finally convinced him to keep it in his pants.
The penalty of your due errors, Romans 1, has come back to bite you too many times.
He's finally learned his lesson.
Yeah. I could see it.
I mean, you did pretty recently sleep with a random noble lady. Right?
That was season 4, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, in game time, world, like in that's canon. Not in game time. That's not that long ago.
I could see it.
Although I think that was before he found out that
it was very before
his godmother.
Yeah. It was before that and his come to fantasy God Jesus moment.
True.
That's true. That happened.
That's fair.
And also he finally came to grips with the fact that I fathered a child with my sister. I must admit this, right?
Yeah. You know what? I think that makes sense. I think it is.
Yeah. Wow. What an arc.
All right.
Honestly,
give him the chaste character.
No, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I definitely like Alphonse has come a long way as a character. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, when you start out as
the worst of the criminals.
Yeah, the only really guilty one, and
right,
and the incestuous one. You got a long way to go.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. Let's replace that with Aura of Innocence.
No. I'm wondering about Rabble Rouser. I'm wondering if there's like to be fair, just not that we need to give Jared another call on, but technically he did just do oratory on God, on like the gods, and win in one round of a duel of wits.
Right. Yeah.
I was saying something like related to like the god and the god aspect of everything going on.
Is there a bargaining call on? Not that you have it, but that seems appropriate.
I think there is a trait related to bargaining, but
I also don't think I have bargaining unlocked.
Yeah,
You
I guess
don't,
it wouldn't help you any.
And he wasn't doing like we haven't used the summoning rules at all, so it's not like the same. He was literally
is
able to
that
go
specifically for summoning.
Yeah, well, it's the trait, it's the skill that you use to bargain with spirits that you summon, right? To do deals with them
I
in
think
like
specifically
a way.
for God.
No, like you can summon gods with summoning, right? And then use bargaining. But like technically, I don't think that's that was what was happening here because
it's not.
Alphonse was like going.
I didn't realize it was that specific.
It was, yeah. Let me look real quick. I'm curious. I think there's like an oratory call on here. The seas.
Dylan should get the chosen one trait.
Well, no, I think that's the one we're gonna give Theo.
Oh, yeah, that too. I mean, we're all technically chosen ones. They're just
that's true, right?
Yeah. There you go. I'll give you all chosen ones. The only one that matter for is
Dylan. Well, no, who's the most chosen one?
I think Theo's the most chosen one.
Isn't his faith already gray?
I have the best faith.
Yeah. But is it gray already though?
Yes.
This makes it gray.
That's true. The wording is pretty specific. If a player's character possesses the faithful
I
faith,
feel like
purchase this trait to make the faith shade gray.
I feel like you talked about this though. I feel like there was
we did. Here's we'll get to Theo in a second. I do want to have a conversation about that. Let's finish up with Alphonse first. So you already have charismatic, Jared, which is the one for persuasion or oratory, and you chose charismatic.
Yeah.
But I guess I think there must be another trait here for oratory.
Ooh, contortionist.
Oh boy.
The Serenus voice or whatever it's called. That's for persuasion too, right?
Yeah, that was the other one.
Sonorous voice, thank you.
Yeah, sonorous voice.
Yeah, because you could take persuasion for that one and then change it to oratory. I know that's not really how it works, but
let me double check sonorous here.
I think seduction is one of the options. I think the other one it might be soothing platitudes and seduction actually.
Well, maybe. Glib has soothing platitudes, falsehood, and seduction. That might be the one you're thinking of. Sonorous voice is conspicuous, stentorious, debate, and oratory. Yeah. Or no, sorry, that's stentorious voice. That's different. Stentorious voice.
What does that even mean? Stentorious.
Oh, it's a dwarf thing. Characters who have, it also says characters who have this trait are at a double obstacle penalty for all singing skill tests. That's pretty funny.
Very loud or powerful in sound, especially when describing a voice. Okay.
Yeah, sonorous is seduction, persuasion, and suasion. That's not really what we're looking for here.
Gotcha. But he could just use that one for persuasion and then take oratory.
I feel like charismatic. Okay, so the description of charismatic is there is something magnetic and enigmatic about this character that draws people to him. People generally enjoy his company.
Yeah.
I feel like that describes. Well, it might. I don't know.
Do we think either? That fits? So I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
What I mean is for Alphonse, for Alphonse specifically, the way that he does oratory. Yeah. Do we think that fits?
Yeah, and I don't really know that he explicitly has a voice that sounds one way or another.
That's
necessarily.
True.
So maybe.
Okay, yeah, Jared, are you fine with that? If we switch charismatic to oratory and then gave you sonorous voice, which I think Alphonse probably has.
That makes sense.
That one's a call on for persuasion.
For persuasion, I think seduction and suasion.
Is it or and?
It's and for sonorous.
You get all of them?
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. Holy cow.
Why didn't I take this one earlier?
Yeah, good question.
Because you already had too many. But I think it makes sense. Like I think we get rid of rabble rouser and subsume that into charismatic, right? Like, I think Alphonse has ceased becoming like mostly unhelpful with his rabble rousing and has become mostly helpful with his rabble rousing, right?
Right. It's true.
And then we can give him sonorous voice. Jared certainly has the most call-ons out of anyone I think I've ever played with. Yeah. But I feel like it makes sense to me.
I don't even think I have a call on.
Seduction, persuasion, suasion. You have a couple, actually. You have mostly for steel.
Yeah. Which probably doesn't come up the time. So.
Well, it's like my steel's so high that I basically...
It comes up all the time, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right.
Like how... there's only so much steel that you can actually go against. So it's like... it could be the most difficult thing is like a 10, and it's not that hard.
Right. Yeah.
And I only have to use one of the call-ons.
Yeah, it's also open-ended automatically, so you get yeah, you're probably not going to need it. You should get driven, and then faith is a stat. You probably can't take driven.
The attribute, but
lucky.
Lucky. I could see
certainly seems appropriate.
The most amount of you should look up lucky because
I don't
even understand.
So lucky is. There's always the lucky ones, always. They make the rest of us look like schlubs while they skate through life. This is already sounding like Alphonse. This trait can be used a number of different ways. First, it can be used as a call-on for any ability. What? No, I don't think you need this, Jared.
Well, no, that can only be used once per adventure.
Oh, once per adventure. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad. You'd only have one use of it.
But it does a bunch of other stuff, too.
Yeah. Second, it can be used to buy off one failed roll to save the character's life once. A failed armor test, a flub speed test, etc. The test is passed and the trait is lost. Lastly, if the player makes a random in-game guess via roleplay, the guess is always right, so long as the player isn't aware the guess is right.
That's funny.
That does sound pretty fun. I don't think Theo's lucky.
I'm lucky because of God. It's
that's
really
different.
Luck.
That's different.
It's not really luck. It's favor.
It's blessed. Yeah, I
could see giving Alphonse lucky. That's kind of fun.
That's pretty funny.
I was trying to look for one that has something to do with like God, but they all have to do with faith.
With faith, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get me chosen because it's all I have. It's the only thing I can do.
Everybody cool with giving Alphonse lucky?
Fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
He can only use the call on portion of it one time because we only have one arc left in the game.
I just need to guess the most outrageous thing ever and make it true.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely use it to be like, my son is in this room, right? This is where they would have kept him.
I bet Faustus is totally naked when we get there. Oh man, he's totally naked. He's gonna be easy to kill. Get him.
You don't get to change the world, but cool. I think this is I think we've reached a final form of Alphonse here. Yeah, he certainly has enough call-on traits.
There was another funny one that was like oddly likable. It's like no matter what this character does, he's not likable.
That's hilarious.
What book is that one? Is that in
the gold?
Main one, okay. What is it? Like just a character trait, or is there something special about it?
Where do you see all these traits?
Oh, it's just a character trait. Yeah, okay.
Is there like something you click on to see these?
Oh, you can. I'm on the PDF that Caleb sent like a year ago that I just saved.
There's that. Technically, you should have access, I think, to the compendium up on the top tabs. Maybe you don't. I think you do. Where you can search. If you type in traits, there are lists there you can look at.
Oh,
which one's the compendium?
The bookshelf. 3 books.
What do you say it was? Traits?
Just type in traits. You can't like search for individual traits, but if you type in the word traits, it will come up with like die traits, call-on traits, die call-on traits. Yeah, you can
I'll post the PDF in the group chat.
Yeah, you can also do that.
That's easier to use.
It has descriptions for them there too. Well, actually, I think it does in the compendium too. But okay, cool. Yeah, I guess the only other thing here would be like, is there anything else that we should like take off of Alphonse? Like, he has charismatic, fleet of foot, familiar face, glib, genius, and sonorous voice for call-ons here.
Yeah, I use all of these every time. Whenever I make a circles test or a speed test, I use it no matter what because I think they're so rare nowadays.
Yeah.
Can you put the conditions or whatever in genius and sonorous voice?
I will. Okay. I don't know if I'll. I should be able to do sonorous at least. Genius is in the codex, so it's not in. Not in the compendium currently, but I will copy sonorous. There you go.
I just call on for teleport, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it basically just says like you're really good at making plans and they always work, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't need all the fluff. I just need what it does.
Yeah, I mean, it already says that with it being in the call-in traits list and having that spatial discipline listed right next to it. But yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. So that's what that's there for. Okay, cool. Let's talk about Theo. So let's talk about having a white shaded 8 faith. What that would mean.
I think that would be cool.
It would be cool. It would also make many obstacles. So we recently had a issue.
You could just limit me to what I can and cannot do. Like,
but
just,
yeah, but
just,
I
just say like,
oh
no, that would ruin the narrative if you're just like, oh yeah, I just pray to end the battle, and it's like, okay, that's not thematically accurate.
I could do that.
David's sword and my persuasion also already trivialize most situations. So.
And you could just like remember you said like a 15. Like that's still kind of difficult even with a white shade. I feel like.
Yeah, if you just don't have the dice, yeah.
Yeah, if I just don't have the dice, I mean, like. Or you could like limit. I can't just like have an entire crowd of people join me in a prayer.
One of the main reasons I'm hesitant about it. I did do this. Well, so this is something that like the rules says the trait specifically says it makes something gray. It doesn't say it shade shifts it up, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is as far as I'm aware, the only way to get white shaded as like a normal character has always been you spend a deeds point on your gray shaded thing, right? Like you get the epiphany or whatever, which feels crazy enough already that I don't know. I don't know. Like I feel like white shaded faith. The more I've thought about it, I feel like giving Theo white shaded faith right now as a dude on Earth doesn't make sense to me. Like for like permanently. Whereas if Theo ascends to sainthood, then of course he's gonna have white shade faith. Like then that makes total sense. But we're also in the darkest hour still. Like we're not even in the hour of reckoning where like God is going to return and his light is going to bathe on everybody. I could see that being the moment where like I give you a white shaded upgrade, but right now it feels too overpowered. The one moment white shaded faith has been used in a game of Burning Wheel for me, it was used to completely derail the final boss encounter. And it left such a bad taste in my mouth that I'm hesitant about it. What do we think? What Connor, David, Jared?
Is he in a position to Aristea on his own? At some point?
He has enough fate and persona in it, certainly. I
don't have any deeds points is the thing.
Oh yeah, no. Well,
once he commits to slaughtering the saints, he'll get another deeds point.
Yeah, he has 0 deeds points. There's no way he's earning 3 deeds points to permanently do it by the end of the game.
Wait, he hasn't gotten any.
Yeah, so we did the weird thing where like we thought it was attached to will for some reason. Still have no idea how that happened. I have a vivid memory of reading it in the book, and when I tried to find it again, it was not there.
The only reason we did that is because you're like, oh yeah, you're going to get faith upgraded anyway, so why don't you just do will because it'll upgrade both. It wasn't like whoa, this would be so overpowered. I have to do this. It was just like, oh, you might get a few extra ones or might as well.
So what happened? What happened was, Theo, you spent a deeds point in will to resist a demon, and then I felt bad that you had spent a deeds point in will, and there was almost no chance you were going to get 3 more deeds points to be able to do the faith thing you wanted to do the whole time. And so I thought I read a rule somewhere, maybe I was just being delusional, that said that the shade of your will is the thing that decides the shade of your faith. This is not the case. So... Well, what I'm saying basically is like the only reason that faith is gray shaded at all is because of the rule being stretched, right?
Well, why don't we just? I mean, if we set up the character with that misnomer, so why don't misunderstanding? So why don't we just keep it? And if he just makes his will white, then his faith will be white because he has almost enough deeds in will, right?
No. Well, I mean, you can't gray shade, you can't white shade will, you can't white shade a trait from Aristeas. It only shade shifts it up one time permanently. You can't do it again, I don't think. Well, maybe you can. I don't think you can. Because like there isn't a there's another threshold to beat, right? Like you've done the thing and you can't do any more. Like the highest reward you could ever get.
Right. Well, he only has gray, which means he could do it again, right?
Well, he got gray because he already did the Aristea in it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the same as like a skill, right? Where you do it and then it turns gray and then you do it at the bigger threshold and it turns white? That's, I mean, you could do it to a skill. Why couldn't you do it to a stat?
No, you the reason that happened with you, Dylan, or it could happen with you, I don't know if you've done it yet, is because you already had it gray shaded to begin with from character creation. So what an Aristea does is it oh, that's funny. It literally only says you can gray shade it. Oh no, shift to a lighter shade. Okay. It's a epiphany, a permanent shade shift of one of the character stats or skills. To shift to the next lighter shade, a player must spend a total of 3 deeds points, 10 personnel points, and 20 fate points. And then it immediately and permanently takes on its new shade.
Oh, so that's written to be repeatable. You'd have to spend 6 deeds points, but it literally says like,
yes,
to do this, spend this much. It doesn't say how many times.
I don't think that's the way.
I mean, what in that language wouldn't have it occur again if you got to 40 something and 6? Like,
I guess I don't think it's something that matters here because
no, it's obviously way too much
more deeds points
resource. Yeah,
but it always seemed to me that it was like it's a cumulative thing, and you've reached the highest threshold. It doesn't go beyond here, right? Like that's.
I mean, it sounds intentionally written in a way to make it so that it's not limiting you to do it once, right? It's saying if you spend this much, this happens, in a way that makes it sound like if it was not that way, I feel like they would have intentionally written it differently.
I feel like if I post in the Burning Wheel Discord, Luke would be like, no, you can't do this twice. But you might be correct that it's worded in such a way that that possibility is there. Either way, I'm leaning towards not doing white shaded faith. I think gray shaded faith is already kind of crazy enough. What do you guys think?
I mean, as long as it isn't bum Theo out or Adam out too much, maybe that could be like the epilogue thing where he gets that.
That's already what I was kind of thinking.
I probably also won't get white sword until an epilogue. So like,
right.
I mean, as long as that's not, I do think that the white faith would have the ability to derail things a little.
Yeah, because it's also like the big thing is like it's almost impossible like for any of the regular ob stuff. It's impossible to fail, basically, right? That like, it's so stuff. Likely that you succeed every time. You're also probably going to upgrade your faith so much faster, and you will probably faith out of the game.
Oh yeah, because you have to
right?
succeed, and you will. Yeah. That's another good point. Is if you get 10
reach
faith,
10 faith, don't you become?
You ascend. You ascend to be with the gods,
and you can't play your character.
Yeah.
I mean, we're close to the end.
Yeah.
I guess the thing for me, Adam, is that like I feel like it's cheap to have to say like, no, you can't roll faith now because it would make the narrative like you should be able to roll whenever you should be able to roll. It's just that we're already stretching the rules to give you. If I would already be stretching the rules to give you white shaded faith in the first place. And so I would personally rather be like, yes, you can try to do a faith roll whenever you can try to do a faith roll, even if it would derail things, but you're at gray shade. Right? Then to do I have to do this, like play this weird game where I'm like narratively limiting your options because you have a white shade in it. That feels strange to me. What are you thinking, Adam?
That's fair, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to see you use it a bunch, right? But I want there to still be a little bit of like I think it would be kind of cool if we could get some sort of like last minute upgrade of white shade for Theo, even if it was just like God came back and everybody's thing shade shift up once, right? Like I did that before, right? I think that would be cool.
And I also think that it makes sense to give him chosen one at some point, maybe like down the road, that would upgrade it to white because, and I remember now, I think the conversation was if he had gotten chosen one earlier, and then shade shifted, it would have been white.
Yes.
But because it did it in a different order, now he's screwed and it stays gray. So like I think we were intending to let it break that text anyways. But yeah, so maybe we could.
But the reason that we were doing that in the first place is because I misunderstood a rule and had him do his will the whole time, right? Like
I knew faith was going to be my thing. And so if I would have just been like, oh yeah, I'm going to put everything on faith. That's the thing is, if I would have only spent it for that, because that was like my thing. I didn't really. I mean, I had steel, but obviously I wasn't going to spend it on steel.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think where we are right now with the character and the way that we've broken the mechanics at this point. I don't think it makes sense to white shade Theo's faith right now. But if you're fine with it, I think it might be really cool to get a last moment, like epilogue, not even epilogue, like a climax moment where the light of God returns and I shade shift everybody's magic who is like connected to God up one, because of that moment of reckoning, because that feels more controllable to me, right? Like without it being cheap, where I have to like make up a bunch of rules about what you can and can't do with faith. I would rather basically have a shorter amount of time where you can be crazy with faith than a longer amount of time where I have to rein you in with faith. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Is there any call-ons that I could use?
Yeah, let's
Clairvoyant.
Let's look at your like traits we might want to subsume or get rid of first. I feel like Theo's still attractive.
Rapier wit, I don't feel like it's going to be necessary. I don't feel like it's super specific.
It is pretty specific. Yeah, that's fair. Like I don't know. It's not that Theo doesn't have a rapier wit, but he might not have it. He certainly doesn't have it in the same way Alphonse does.
Yeah, I mean, Theo's been in at least one dual wits, and he was much more like serious, grandstanding, kind of like making philosophical points than he was like, and your mother's fat. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So I think that tracks.
Yeah, we can get rid of that one.
I was also thinking about Apostate and Spartacus. I haven't really.
Oh, yeah.
Am I even an Apostate anymore?
I don't think you are. Yeah, we should get rid of that one. You've officially reformed the religion like the way it should be, and yeah.
And also, Spartacus did not help me when I was arguing in front of all the people. They just didn't care.
Very true. Yeah, what you should have done is made like a circles test to be like, I have a person in the crowd who like helps. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Theo.
Yeah, I mean it's still kind of cool, but I also don't see it coming up ever again. So we could probably get rid of that one if you're fine with that.
Yeah.
You've transcended beyond that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so attractive, empathetic, light blonde hair, appreciation for beauty, any of those that we feel like
empathetic, maybe. I don't feel like
yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say what you want. You know what you want and you say it, and you don't care about people's feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. Attractive blonde hair, appreciation for beauty. None of those seem not true.
No, I mean, I think those all seem fine.
Yeah.
I think those are
kind of cool to keep around. Yep. Cool. Well, yeah, let's take a look and see if we can find a cool religious trait that would like.
The only call on I could see was clairvoyant, where it just says like its character's gift lets them see the cost of their actions a split second before they happen, allowing them to subtly nudge fate's hand.
Oh dang.
Jeez.
This trait acts as a call on for one skill of the player's choice per session.
That's
I
cool.
like it.
But it's faith isn't a skill, so I don't think that would work.
Yeah, that's true. You could use it for faith, but
I mean that is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Let's take a look here.
How do you nudge fate's hand?
Well, it's just a call. Like that's the flavor description for the fact that you have a call on, right?
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, there's a time
I'm thinking
to live.
More like, I can't use it for faith, but I might be able to. Like
the description of this is really aptly fitting for Theo. There's a time to live and a time to die. This character's gifts let them see the cost of their actions a split second before they happen, allowing them to subtly nudge fate's hand. That's kind of cool.
I was kind of thinking like, you know how I've prayed a few times where I was just like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
It can almost be like instead of having to roll for that, it's just kind of like, I kind of know.
So cool. I really like that. We all good with that?
Cool. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, okay, so you can change it to a different skill per session. So it's a better version of the lucky thing or genius for Alphonse. But I feel like the flavor text especially really fits what we've been playing for with Theo right now. That's cool. I like that a lot. Especially the way you just described that, Adam, like him.
Yeah, I feel like kind of made sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you have an instinctual understanding of God's will for your life.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and that's a 6-point call on trait.
Wow. Nice. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. It's basically a call on for everything. Because, I mean, you can only use call-ons once anyways in a session.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
So. I don't know what this would be. Kind of funny. Aura of Holiness.
Oh, that's true.
I forgot
You
about
honestly
that one.
might have that one.
What does that do?
It just says people have to roll for steal when they're in your presence.
I think it's evil people, right? Specifically.
Oh, maybe.
I think it's people
add the holy character's will exponent to the hesitation obstacle.
Dang. I mean, if anybody has Aura of Holiness, it's you. You were literally like
definitely is.
Wait, what's the difference between suasion and persuasion?
Suasion is like your soul is on the line. It's like a religious persuasion, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan would be able to use that better, but
I have suasion,
yeah. I mean, yeah, so I'll read it off specifically for everybody. This character is bathed in divine light. That's kind of already explicitly true about Theo right now.
Yeah, right.
Any character with a lawbreaker, dreaded, spirit nature, or aura malevolence trait must immediately make a seal test when entering the holy character's presence. Add the holy character's will exponent to the hesitation obstacle. He has a gray shade will too. That's gonna be bonkers.
Wait, does spouses have aura of malevolence?
He does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I like comeback. It makes sense. It's like,
it makes total sense. Yeah.
Like I come back and I'm not dead, and he's like, "What? No."
Right. He was the one who killed you too. That would be a moment.
It's like I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
Tasting his own medicine.
Yeah. I think this is a good compromise.
You feel when they come back, huh?
I think this is a good compromise, Adam. You don't get white shaded faith, but you get these like super cool like religious traits that like are gonna make your moments bonkers here. Yeah. I love it.
And it's not like crazy. It's just like he has to roll against my will.
There's specific circumstances where it will be bonkers, but
if he has multiple of those traits, it should be harder.
I don't think so, but that is explicitly not what the trait says. But
but you know.
But yeah, I think the rest of his traits look good to me. Right, we keep his steel stuff is sticking around. Right, life is death, glory hound, show no fear. Those are all still true. Driven is still probably true, right? Well, actually, here's a question, Theo. Even if it is still true, I don't know if it's still true in the same way. Are you planning on killing the gods still? I don't know if you are. Maybe
not all of them. I mean, obviously that one god of war, maybe.
That's true. Yeah.
What about Narani?
Probably not Narani, no.
She killed his
so
wife?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if we maybe transmute this trait somewhat. Like, Theo is a driven person, but what is he now driven to do? I don't think it's to get justice on the gods anymore.
I think it's kind of like to take power over the gods.
It's like make things right.
Almost like lead them.
Yeah, to make things right.
Yeah, to make things right, yeah. So there might be a few bad actors that I might remove, but I'm still kind of like, okay, there's a few of them. Some of them are good. Some of them are not. And some of them have at least failed their duty, and I don't feel like it's gonna be reconciled entirely.
Well, so now I'm wondering like if driven really makes sense in the way that we have it on your character sheet right now, because right now, you have driven for trident specifically.
Oh yeah.
Right? There's a distant goal which drives this character on, something that burns in his mind that'll make all this suffering, hardship, and pain worth it in the end. That was getting justice on the gods. I don't even think that's a thing that Theo... Like, it seems like Theo, like, kind of accepted that, like, okay, we're in charge of the gods now. Like, I don't need to kill them.
Sure, yeah. I think he does. I think it's true.
Yeah. So here's the question then. Are you as driven about something else? There's a distant goal which drives this character on. Something burns in his mind that will make all this suffering, hardship, and pain worth it in the end.
I think he still wants to transcend to a god. That's what he still wants to do.
Right.
He still does that. He just may not want to like kill everybody.
Yeah. But my question though is, what skill is that?
Right. It's too bad faith isn't a skill because
if we can't do faith, I'm not even sure. I guess that's a good point because like it's like trident. Is he gonna fight him with the trident unless he glorifies the trident? But even then, I don't have enough to gray shade my trident.
Do you have like persuasion? What skill would you use? Would you use
persuasion?
Because maybe you could be that.
I don't have persuasion. Will maybe? I don't know.
Will's also
that can't be will. Yeah, it has to be a skill.
Here, let me look real quick.
I don't know.
I don't think there's any. So
Yeah, most of them are pretty low.
yeah, no.
Like you've been
So
focusing
only faith connects me to like a sort of higher power.
Oh yeah, we need to put
I don't really have
persuasion
anything
down
that
again.
I don't really have any skills that make a difference because we're talking about non-physical things, right?
Yeah, the his highest skills are persuasion, trident, and arena wise for some reason. Observation. None of those seem important enough.
No, I guess that makes sense.
Like even persuasion, like yeah, I think we just take driven off, Adam, because like you have other traits that are like I'm a super awesome like god guy. I don't think you're driven in the same way.
Well, because like I said, there's no skill that really ties you to
there's no skill for that. But even the way
realm.
even the way that the trait describes it, I don't think is true for Theo anymore, right? It was like something burns in his mind, something that will make all this pain and suffering worth it. Like Theo's not in that mind space anymore. He's like, I've come back to do God's will. I am in line with God's will. Everything I have ennui, right? Like Zen, like I'm good. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's such a fun way to see that go away, though. Because like normally it's like driven, you see that out into the end, and then the thing is done. But like Theo found peace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it reminds me, Adam. I want to have a flashback. Maybe not in this session because I think we're gonna probably just talk about the game the whole time. Given our time right now. But at the start of next session, before we keep going with like what's happening on Earth, I want to do a flashback and get a scene with your wife before you leave heaven. I realized that, remember, she like led you to the gods originally as like a Beatrice type figure. I want to have that moment where we get a conversation between the two of you before you leave and do their Helldiver pod down to Earth. Because I'm curious what Theo's mindset is, where like I'm moving on, I'm letting you go, or is like I'm coming back for you. Like I want to see what that scene.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I wasn't sure like what he actually wanted. I think he is conflicted. So I was trying to think
about that for next time, and we'll start the session with that, I think.
Because like what if he had the option between, because like I don't know how it works if you actually transcend. But what if he like gives up the transcendence and he's just like, I want to be with Asia on Earth, and I don't want to do that. I thought that might even be a possibility, which would like, wait, that's like
pull
against
a Hercules.
Everything. Yeah.
I
was like, man, that like turns around everything that he's wanted to do.
Well, that's the thing. Like if you get everything you need to get done here on Earth, I feel like that's a possibility for Theo, right?
Well,
like,
what if he transcends with Asia? Because I mean, basically they're all patron saints, right? And Asia's kind of like a devoted follower. I don't know how that would work, but
it's certainly possible we end the game where you all take the Pantheon's place. That is a place where that's a direction this could be going, depending on, and that's part of what I want to talk about here. So do we think we're good with traits for Theo? I think we are.
I was thinking also maybe last one. I don't. Yeah. It makes kind of sense. I was tough. Character may round up when determining his mortal wound. I don't know.
That might not matter for you. Let's check.
I mean, I guess I probably won't die. So I guess you're right. I was just thinking like, since he's so steel and he's like, oh, life is death.
Hey, it might matter. Let me change one of your stats here and see if it. Yeah, if you want to get that and round it up, that could be cool. You died and came back. That's kind of right. You'd be tougher, right?
True.
The only thing it does is it increases his mortal wound by 1. That's like that's kind of cool. Everybody fine with that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I think you want.
Yeah. There's only very few circumstances where it actually does anything, right? Because you have to have it like right on the edge of rounding. Yeah, exactly. And this seems like one of those times, and you just died and came back, so that seems like a relevant time to do that. Okay, cool. Put that in there. So tough, mortal. There you go. I just increased that. I'm pretty sure the way this shakes out is you still have a... What do you got? You got a 4 to 5. Yep. So still at 3, 3. Light, MIDI, serious, there you go. Okay. So your superficial is still at that 3 to start with, but light wounds don't start for you until B6 now. And you need to get a B8 wound for it to be MIDI at all. And then serious at 9, traumatic at 10, and mortal at 11. So, cool. Seems fun to me. Okay, let's talk about beliefs and instincts and where we're headed game-wise with everybody. So the things that I know are going on in the game that we need to kind of assess and figure out, like, what do you guys care about? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? I know that we're obviously Faustus is the big one, right? Need to deal with Faustus. You need to deal with, I guess this is all kind of the same, but Faustus, Targoth, they're the same. You know, the demon's possessing him. Here, I'll just do Faustus and Targoth. You need to deal with Kraos, right? The leader of the demons needs to be dealt with in some way. You need to deal with Tanis, the god of war. Right? He's at some point he's gonna make a move here, and we'll have to figure out what that looks like. I know that Connor, David, and Jared and I have had conversations about what that thing with Tanis might look like in the end. We need to deal with Lirin and the Inquisition. I'm planning on having them be sub-bosses, right? As you get to Faustus, you'll have to deal with them. And then you still got to deal with what's his face? Constantino as brain monster. He's still around somewhere.
He's like the brain.
He's like a brain monster. Yeah.
I figured he was kind of like a sequel fodder at this point. I didn't think we were going to see him again.
I'm going to have him in like you don't have to like go after him or anything, right? Like he certainly could just be something that fades into the background, but technically that's something that's like a villain that we still know about that is still around somewhere, and I could pull out at some point.
Sure. I'm not sure I want to kill him a fourth time, but
it's become a meme now, and I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I told you this, David, but I don't think everyone was here when I talk about this. There's a character in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show that like constantly comes back and from death over and over and over again until he's literally just a hologram by the end, right? Like he like loses an eye and then loses an arm and then loses his body and he's just a head, and then he loses his head and he's just an eye, and then he loses his eye and he's just a brain, and it just keeps going over and over again. And this is definitely Constantino to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what other. Oh yeah, we have the Order. Most of these people have like been subsumed under the demon hierarchy at this point, where like they're not separate like subplots anymore. They're just like they've all come to understand like the world is ending. We have chosen a side, and they've chosen the demons, basically, right? So they'll just be part of the main obstacle, right? Constantino, I guess, is kind of his own little thing, but I'll just come put him off to here as a side. Let's see here. What else do we got? I think that's the main. Oh yeah. The only other thing would be Luca, Elon, and Ipana. Not that Ipana's an enemy, but like that, you still have to deal with that.
Yeah,
stuff.
that whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Although I mean, killing
Alfredo.
Killing Faustus, I think, should lead pretty smoothly into that. I hope.
Yes. And there could be a different order on all of this. Like it's still up in the air as to like what particular order you go about doing this in. But my thought is that Faustus the order would probably be something like, I'll put these from top to bottom. Liren and the Inquisition, the Order, like in series of importance, probably, right? Luca, Elon, and Ipana, Faustus and Targoth, Tanis, God of War, Kraos, with maybe some room for switching around some of these depending, but that's looks like my order here would probably be how we do
doing the
this.
ritual the right way won't that take care of a lot of the problems?
It will, but you have to get to Faustus, and some of these people are just going to be standing in your way, quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I remember, that was the next.
Sure, yeah. You
As
don't know
far
where
as
he
I
is,
remember, the thing we were doing was going to Faustus. That was like that was our next step. Like I think we were gonna clean up some conversations in the place we were at, and then we were going to Faustus.
Yep.
So yeah, I imagine if any of those things are staying directly in the way, then they'll probably be resolved first. But otherwise, I imagine they'll be resolved after.
Yes. Yes. Certainly, some of them can. The big one that I know will for sure be solved before is probably Liren and the Inquisition. They're going to quite literally be in your way and attack you while you're trying to like go there.
Sure.
So yeah, the Order I could definitely see becoming a epilogue thing. Right, like dealing with whatever that looks like. Though they do have resources that they might put in your way as well. I'll have to figure out like what your beliefs specifically are about the situation will probably determine what obstacles I put in place when.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously you need to figure out Luca and Elon and stuff. The one thing keep in mind there is technically Sergio is going to Elon right now to try to deal with him once and for all in his mind. So like that's happening in the background, and depending on when you guys interrupt that will depend on how far that's progressed. I'll have to figure out like a clock or something for how that's been going. Just gonna double check any other. Yeah, the war is pretty much done with, right? The Shoei subplot. The only last thing there is dealing with Tanis. But that again, that feels like a pretty like not necessarily epilogue, but at least like climax thing, right? Like deal with all the spiritual, gods and demons last thing, sort of thing. Anyone else have a loose thread that they know that your character wants to deal with, or obviously we can have those conversations next time with like Achia and Kantar's uncle and all that stuff.
Liren, is that a thing?
Liren and the Inquisition? Yeah, I have that here.
Okay.
Yep. So I have a plan with him. He will likely be the first obstacle that you have to overcome as you go towards Faustus. So. And
does he have Asian lady?
He has Yuma. Yep. That's going to be the thing I'm going to start with.
Cool beans.
Basically. Yep. We'll deal with all that. Cool. Yeah. Anyone have any other thoughts on this, or like think like my character just doesn't care about this at all? I would just avoid this obstacle. Any other thoughts?
Not that I can think of.
Do we have any idea how this? No. Yeah, we need
the keys.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember if we had any idea what the ritual looks like. We need the kid.
Yes, that's what it was. Is Luca needs to be purged of the demon and put his hand on the artifacts and do the final ritual or whatever.
Okay.
We forgot the most important character. What on earth is happening to Tiddlywinks right now?
I think honestly, he might be in danger. He was staying with what's her face?
Oh yeah, the crime lady, right?
Yeah, the crime boss lady.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And she turned evil. She turned against you because you lied to her. So yeah, I mean, Alphonse, you want to go save Tiddlywinks? You could.
Yeah, sorry guys. I know I went through a bunch of character development about my son, but Tiddlywinks comes first.
There you go. But I'll put Tiddlywinks on the side here.
That's funny.
Question mark. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of like side NPC characters that like became evil. That it really only matters that you need to kill Faustus. Like they're not going to be enough of a challenge for you. It's just like, defeating the demons will free them, or at least deal with them in some way. Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously we have like here I guess we said the Pantheon is something that needs to be figured out at the end of like the epilogue stuff. Like, what is God coming back? Is he killing the Pantheon? Are you guys taking their place? Like that's still up in the air, what that's gonna look like. And then like the future of Ceran is also something that is like gonna be an epilogue, probably, right? And then obviously like character arc completions. Any last denouement stuff. So this is the order that I see. What are we thinking about for beliefs and stuff then, based on how this is going to go down? So like for Cantarius, for example, we have right now your intellectual discipline belief, which will probably stay, right? Connor?
Sorry, say that again.
Looking at your beliefs, I assume the intellectual discipline belief is going to stay as it is, as you just continue to use it.
Oh, intellectual discipline belief, yeah.
Yeah. I guess another thought there.
Dylan in the battle against Shoei, that needs to change though.
That's true. The world will not end. Not on my watch is obviously still relevant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would change. And then you have I'm a demon hunter, and I have unfinished business with Faustus. Does that first part stay? Because I could see this one, the third belief being about like deal with Faustus and any obstacles that are in the way of getting to Faustus, and then belief 2 could be like any of those other things that need to happen, like getting the keys from Faustus, saving Luca. Luca getting exercised is definitely a thing that Cantarius is going to have to do, right? Like,
can we decide as a group what's the first thing that we're going to go do? Because I think we should probably keep the party together at this point.
I think so too. Yeah, I think the idea was that you guys were going to go straight for Faustus as quickly as you could, but
and then go for Luca.
Yeah, I think so, right? Like, because you have to get to Faustus to get the keys anyway, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and also theoretically he has Ipana and Luca also, which is the
theoretically has
other thing we need.
Yeah.
So yeah, we pretty much everything we need is in that spot.
You don't know that for sure. You don't actually know where they are. At this point, Faustus has a lot of the city under his control.
Right. I mean, he is the one that,
but he at least knows where they are.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we kill him, then hopefully we can just find them, right?
Yeah. Exactly. But then what's likely to happen is So I guess I'll switch the order on this because I think that makes sense. Because you got to get to Faustus and Targoth so that you can get the keys. And actually, let me delete Sergio here. We should do the keys as another thing, right? Faustus, the keys, Luca, which will then spiral into any of the big cosmological stuff that needs to be dealt with. So the first things that are going to be on everyone's plates are basically whatever obstacles are in the way to get to Faustus. That's like the most immediate thing next time.
How about this?
Okay.
Belief 2 and 3. The world will not end, not on my watch. We will take the keys back from Faustus. I am a demon hunter, but my friends come first. I will make sure all my friends stay alive.
See? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's
like
interesting.
A very natural progression since what we talked about at the end of last session.
That's kind of like what my last two are. They're like the same thing, but in different priorities.
It is interesting though that
back together, boys.
Cantarius is like specifically choosing not to have like kill Faustus as one of his, right? Like it's get the keys back from Faustus. Like that's the most important thing. Okay, yeah, I like it. Real quick before we move on to anybody else's beliefs, Connor, are you still satisfied with your instincts there?
He's too dangerous to be left alive. I need him.
It's not the Jedi way. It's not the Crow Inquisitor way. What are you talking about? Have you been here for 5 seasons? This is definitely the Crow Inquisitor.
You literally killed me. What are you doing?
Always be on the lookout for the bonds that tie demons to the physical world. Yeah. Always offer forgiveness to those who repent. Yeah. Always be on the hunt for demons. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right.
His beliefs have changed, but his instincts are a lot harder to get rid of.
Yeah, we've settled into some instincts for these characters for a while now, so just making sure. Dylan, what are you thinking for your beliefs then?
I've got kill the Inquisition basically still on there.
Perfect. Yep.
I have to get to in order to get to Ipana and Luca, I have to find the demon or reach the demon. Them.
Real quick, actually, I lied. The first thing before Laren and the Inquisition is conversations. Right.
Yeah.
The very first thing we're going to do next time is any of those last conversations before, like the calm before the storm, before you actually go after Faustus, talking to Cantarus, maybe your uncle, Dellen talking to Averio or the king, Theo talking to Achia. I don't know who Alphonse would want to talk to, but any of those last conversations before you guys head straight there. So if you want a belief about any of those, now would be the time to write those. And then save the like specific Faustus beliefs and his obstacles for the time after.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any like real goals with the king. Like
Totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily how that conversation go. Basically, in my mind, Adela is just going to go to the king and be like, all right, there's still a lot of crap going on. I fought some of the people in the city, but they're not gone. You should go fix that. I'm going to try and go keep us all from, from hell, from taking over the world, literally. So I don't imagine that there'll be a lot of like goal there for me, at least in my mind. Maybe
and that's totally fine. That tells me how the conversation is going to go, right? Like if you guys have a belief about it, that's one thing we can play out as long as we need to. But if it's always going to be a brief conversation, then you can keep all your beliefs the way they are, right? Like in terms of finding Faustus stuff. And then I think it would be cool to get a small snippet of that, but it doesn't need to be belief worthy. I just wanted to remind you guys that that's technically the very next thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So I guess real quick, Connor, did you have anything in particular you wanted to talk to your uncle about? My main thing there was going to be like him just like being like, I've got your back, nephew, right? Like I'm here to help Lucerta as well. Like, whatever you need, let me know, sort of a thing. So.
Wait, you're saying you want to get that scene, and that's just what you thought the scene was going to be? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So if you want a belief about anything there, then that's fine. If you don't, also fine. Just want to.
Well, he doesn't have a belief about it, right? I mean, this is something that's going to happen to him rather than
perfect. Yep, that's fine.
Somebody's going to decide to do.
Sweet. All right, so Dellen, Inquisition one obviously still relevant. And then you want to keep the Ipna and Luca one as it is too. Reach the demon. I must reach the demon that has claimed them, right? Like you can still work on that, even if there are obstacles in the way.
Yep, yeah. And then I just have a big one about saving the city, pretty much, because there's so much going on. But I guess I could be a little more specific with those.
The mountain before us looms ever larger. That could be about. Well, let's see. You for your special belief right now, you have. Expel the demon from its host. Yeah, get rid of Faustus.
Yeah, basically, I want to find Faustus and want to kill him, right?
Yeah. How about you make? How about you make belief 3 about any other obstacles that might get in the way between you and Faustus? Well, no, you know what? Belief 3. Honestly, you can keep it as it is. Because like I will bring the city back from the brink is a pretty good one. Like I could offer Dellen like a couple of moments as you guys are going through where like some like. Innocent people are being harassed or whatever by demons. Like we could see Dellen like be Bishop Dellen in charge of the city and like save some innocent people or something. Like that could be a cool thing.
That sounds good.
Yeah, let's keep it. Do you want to keep your instincts the way they are?
I think so, probably. I don't think I've ever changed those.
That's true. Honestly, I think you've like tweaked them slightly. Yeah. But the principles have remained the same the entire time, right? It's always keep my weapons. I think before you had it, you did reverse instinct too. Originally, you had that one be like, never fight an unarmed man or like don't take advantage of. Like it was like about proper etiquette in a duel or something. And you're like, nah, I don't care about that. I had opposite. But that was a pretty quick like realizing that was the real character. Yeah.
Yeah, and then never.
And then don't insult my religion, basically.
You're right. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Cool. Alphonse.
Sir.
Let's take a look at yours.
I think mine are pretty good.
My family will always come first. Now that the city is in chaos, I will ensure that my son is saved. Perfect. We must finish this fight so the Lucerta can finally be at peace. I will fight Faustus. That's not really a belief.
I will kill Faust.
Yeah, that's better. And we'll kill Faustus.
But we never actually kill anything, so I never get persona for it.
You could say I will defeat Faustus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? It just has to be like something you can actually succeed at, right? I will fight
Sorry,
Faustus means you started something, but it has no bearing on whether or not it finished at all, right?
That was just like all of us in our last episode of Hit when you're like, well, you don't have to like brutally attack him. You could have just said you tied him up and intimidated him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We must finish the slice so the charity can finally be a feast. I will defeat Faustus. Is there a particular reason you're trying to defeat Faustus? Just like so that his
Threatening
stranglehold
my family,
on
the city. He's a
yeah,
demon.
stranglehold on the city is removed.
Generally kind of a not nice guy.
Yep. If I lose the orb, the game has come to an end. I will Jarrett, do not change that. Okay, whatever.
It's
Fine.
game over, man.
I'll keep
It's already canon.
No, it's not, but that's fine. I will keep the orb safe for the ritual. Yeah, that's a pretty important one. That's one that I can easily continue to threaten, right? There are plenty of people, like, they need to get the orb to do their thing.
Everyone
so.
in the world,
wants
God,
this.
demon man wants the orb.
Everyone wants you, Alphonse. What's new?
Everybody wants your orbs, Alphonse.
Oh, boy.
Yuck.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
Your instinct's good?
Yeah.
Yep. They look good. And then Theo, what do you got for beliefs?
First two are basically the same. I did change it as we were talking about it. I changed it from killed Faustus to defeat Faustus. I am destined to save the world. It said Asia is my main concern. I will find her and protect her at all costs. It's kind of like Kentarius's, except it's like, oh yeah, I'm destined to save the world, but I got this other thing that, you know.
Right. And that'll be a good one for next time, because I then we can have that moment with Asia there, and we can figure out what the plan is for the two of you, because you got like separated after you died and that whole thing. So I think that's the most important of the conversations that needs to happen before we move on. So that'll be a good one. Find her and protect her. Yep. Cool. Same stuff for your instincts. They're good.
Yeah, it was the same. I was also thinking about, can I have it both as a belief and an instinct to protect her? Because I feel like it's also kind of instinctual as well. But does it have to be one or the other?
I think it usually should be one or the other. If it's different enough, then that's fine. I mean, right now you have like a belief about protecting Asia, but then your instincts are trust your friends, wield power. Like, were you going to change one of those instincts?
Can I only have 3 instincts?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Sometimes traits give you like a special 4th instinct, but usually it's 3. All right, cool. Oh, you know what we need to do? Did we hand out? I don't think we knew it was the end of an arc last time. We should.
We didn't do the Artha end of arc Artha. Right?
Yeah, we should do any of the like bigger Artha stuff.
Theo gets MVP, right?
Probably. Let's see. This was the game from.
I did like a lot of faith things. Gave people swords, brought people up, persuaded the gods.
When did we end the last arc?
Oh yeah, what was the start of this arc?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I know the beginning of the 4th season was arriving in Lucerta, and then it went until here. Let me just check YouTube. It was either like, I think it was around the time you were getting the orb in your chest. It's like some of that stuff, but I'm trying to remember explicitly. It may have been after the fight with Constantino.
I think it was before we talked to Sergio.
It definitely was. Oh, I remember. It was the whole thing. The main thing that was like the end of the arc stuff was Theo turning to good finally with the great god, and after he had just tried to kill Cantarius and like take the artifact, it was right after that, which was like the fight with Constantino. It was all of that stuff. Yep. Okay. So it's been since then.
Because I think the beginning was when we met those 2 people, remember, or whatever his name was from the Order, and then he died throughout the.
That's true. Yeah.
The assassin.
Yep. So what happened in this arc was get the great god, like the great god, or sorry, the patron saints left, right? The great Dylan called the people together, got the great god to connect everybody to their magic again. the god demon thing showed up, and Dellen was making a speech. Sergio was confronted by Alphonse, and they redeemed him. And then everything that's just been happening with Theo dying and the city going crazy and all that stuff. So in that whole thing, who do we think was MVP and Workhorse? So Workhorse is the most relied upon in a given scenario. The mundane stuff, having that piece of gear to make a scene go, having that skill to get the other characters safely through danger, and just generally slaving away
I
behind
was
the
white shaded Faith. I was like, I made like so many like important roles. We literally couldn't kill the god without my Faith roll.
Theo and Connor, or I don't know which is which, but probably Theo and Connor this season or arc. Whatever.
Yeah, so MVP is like the guy who's out in front, and Workhorse is the guy who's out in behind the scenes.
Okay.
So who do we think is? Well, we can get multiple of them. I'm fine with that, right? We can do like 2 MVPs and 2 Workhorses if we think.
I'll say I was the Workhorse then.
I think so, right? Like Theo was doing a lot of Faith.
Yeah, I agree.
Tests. And even in the moment, like the moment where he had to get the gods, like he called Alphonse to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's definitely more of like a Workhorse thing. So it's the same reward either way, but that makes sense. Theo, so you can get an extra persona point. And then Alphonse definitely got MVP. I think I think it's Theo and Cantarius get Workhorse, and Dellen and Alphonse get MVP, which is that's kind of usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Because Dellen like killed the god and stopped the war.
Alphonse persuaded the other gods.
Exactly. Yep. So a persona point all around for everybody. And I think, didn't we talk last time about Deeds Point stuff? Like, I don't think anyone's at a Deeds Point yet, but we're gearing up towards one for Theo.
I
certainly.
think I'm on the cusp of one, and Theo is also on the cusp of one.
Yeah, we had talked about it.
And
I think everyone.
Depending on what he's doing.
I think everyone is on the cusp of one. Yeah. Right. And let's talk about that briefly. So Theo is obviously going to figure out like, what do I want from the gods / like what is my final choice with all of this? Right now he's decided like I am for the great god. I have Zen. I'm gonna do what I need to do. But we do have that final decision of like, will I go get vengeance on the gods? Will I ascend to sainthood? All of that stuff is on the table still. With Alphonse, it's like you tell me, Jared, what are you gearing up for Deeds Points wise?
Basically taking ownership of his fatherhood.
Right, yeah, taking ownership of your past mistakes and finally coming to grips with like redeeming that. Yeah, making amends. Dellen, I think, is like will he become the dictator of Ceran or something more? Like what is Dellen's leadership look like? Right?
Yeah,
is that where we're at with Dellen?
And there was also the possibility of him like trying to take or turn down the godhood, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's all part of the same thing, right? It's like, what is Dellen's? Because Dellen's arc has been like, I'm a rebel child who like thinks I know better than everyone and will do whatever I want. I have the weight of responsibility on me. I care about this city and my religion, and like I must be the leader that our church needs, basically. Right. And like grow out of being the impetuous young man to be the wise old man.
Right. What if like, so we have like the king, then we have the pope. What if we like in the end he becomes sort of like a pope king?
that's so much worse than how it was before.
Yeah, it's also kind of like the opposite of the direction it's been going, right? Where he's like intentionally made it so that the church has less power, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's like the king, but he's like a religious king, and so he's like.
I don't think Dellen ever wants to be the king, right? Like he
doesn't want to be the bishop.
It's thrust upon you, man. You can't deny it.
Well, being a bishop is thrust upon him. I think Dellen as religious leader makes sense. I don't think Dellen is going to end up being the king of Ceran.
Yeah, I don't see either.
Not by his own volition.
Sure, I guess if the king dies and he has to,
we will make him king.
I don't have any plans to kill the king, but
and tie him up, put him in the throne.
And obviously, Cantarius is like, does he martyr himself? Does he become right? We have to figure out like what Cantarius's end is.
Goes to hell.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You need to die get a deeds point, and then whichever one of us doesn't have 3 yet will have a free deeds point to White Shade.
That's true. That's true. Cool. Yeah, those are all fun places to go. I'm excited to dig into them more.
No. Get 2 deeds points, give them to me, then I'll bring it back to life.
There you go.
It would just make a deeds farm. Yeah.
Dead. Back to life.
That's true. Yeah. Technically, if Cantarius still has Aura of Martyrdom when he gets resurrected, he'll just keep dying and giving people Artha when he's...
Oh man.
So will he come back with a different body, or will there just be like multiple Cantarius skeletons?
Given how Theo came back, it's not necessary. It's kind of both. Like the old body gets disintegrated and the new body is reconstituted from the old body.
Oh. So there's not going to be like 80 pairs of holy bones.
No. Here's all my Cantarius skeletons.
What is that? Was that one movie with Hugh Jackman? It's the weird movie.
Please don't say The Fountain.
No, the other one. The one also with Christian Bale. Again, it's not Primer.
The Prestige.
Prestige, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Prestige, where it's just like a bunch of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm back. But you were just
we'll all have literal skeletons in our club.
Yeah, we revived the wrong body, and then he has to like kill his other person. What? Oh no, wrong body.
Anyone have any other thoughts or questions? Anything we want to talk about in terms of where we're headed here? I think we got
I was thinking when I find Aisha, I should like right before I talk to her, I should have the flashback where it's like I'm reminded because I just came back and this is the first time I saw her, and I've just seen my previous or
yep
their name was.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'll be fine. It'll be good to see where Theo is at with all of that stuff. Cool. Yeah. I think this gives me a pretty clear idea. I think we've managed to gather all the disparate threads and decide which ones are no longer relevant and what the direction is for anything else that is relevant. So now I can just take each of these points and make sure that I have like the proper obstacles for your beliefs and what characters are going to be involved and all that stuff. So that's very helpful for me. I was definitely feeling a little overwhelmed there. With all, because like, it's like the end of the game. I'm trying to throw in a bunch of like cool, crazy stuff. And I definitely think like one thing I would like to do just for your guys' information is I want to give a reason why Dylan was able to kill that one god assassin guy so easily, as opposed to why it's going to be really hard to kill like the god of war or something.
Sure.
I what I don't want that to feel like is like, well, I can do anything now. I killed a god. Like, there's nowhere up for me to go. He was like a corrupted kind of like half god.
I mean, he didn't have white stats.
So exactly. Yeah. So
the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like that where I'm trying to like make sure that like everything that was leading up to this set of obstacles is going to feel like it was building up to this instead of being like I did the thing my character, like I reached the pinnacle of my character and now I'm going back down to deal with more mundane threats. Hopefully I can make Faustus and Targoth feel really dangerous in a way that I wasn't able to do with any of the other villains. I'm gonna try really hard to be like go as hard as I can with Faustus to make him as like difficult as possible. Since he's like the main guy. But okay, cool. Any other thoughts?
They're like white shaded fighting skills, aren't they?
Who?
Gods, yeah.
Yeah, the gods would have them, yeah.
Okay. Is there a way in Faith to like temporarily gray shade a stat? Like Trident? Because I'm just a black shade, so it's like
Miracle,
literally zero chance. But if I was gray shade, it's probably still zero chance, but at least it'd be like, okay, it's not.
It should feel better.
Maybe feel better.
a miracle, an Ob 10 miracle can do a lot of stuff. Like it's pretty open ended. So
I'm just like,
I might add some ob penalties.
Boost my shade and boost my Trident skill just for a scene. I'd probably still lose, but at least I wouldn't be like, like throwing pebbles at him and it's like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, given what shades are in the meta, where it's like you're getting heroic and supernatural abilities, like it makes sense that Faith would be able to do that sort of stuff. If you had a high enough Faith and made a good enough roll. So,
And if I fail, I'll just be like, Dylan, do the thing. It's up to you, boy.
Danny, do the thing.
I love that. Like Theo's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I can do it. Dylan, help!
I can do it, Dylan.
Alphonse, help! Right? Guitari's help!
Well, it's like I can't give myself a skill that's just like I can give someone else a skill. I mean, my skill is the giving skills to something, but if I can't give it to myself and it doesn't make a difference,
yeah,
give it to somebody who can do it.
It's like either Theo like completely just does it all by himself, or he's only there to buff other people.
Well, until I'm white shaded, I need like some sort of. Do I get some sort of like superpowers if I transcend? Because they have like superpowers basically, right?
I mean, if you transcend,
if I transcend, do I white shade all my stats? Although it doesn't matter.
Yes. I mean, Theo, what will happen is you will stop playing the character, and I will start playing the character. That's how it works, right? He will just become a god at that point. So, but I'm hoping we don't. I'm hoping we don't shape or Faith transcend like in the middle of this arc.
Yeah,
I think it'd be interesting. Like, because it'd be interesting to talk about if I actually succeed and I become a god. There's like what we could talk about what I'm the god of.
Yeah.
You kind of have like a like narratively, you'd think, oh, that's kind of interesting how he's the god of this.
Yep. I've
probably has something to do with how you lived your life.
Yes. Yeah. I've been thinking about a lot of that cosmological stuff for the ending of this campaign in particular, because David and I a long time ago came up with a lot of stuff that's happening here on Serragon and like what it means and all that stuff. I would be very interested. Again, I'm taking it slow with this game. I want to make sure that we get as powerful, impactful arcs as we can with all of these characters since we spent so long with them. And I definitely want to take a little bit longer on the epilogue too, to like talk about what this means for the world, what this might mean for the entire universe of this larger thing that's going on here, what like you guys becoming the gods of this planet might mean, and where this goes from here, and just really see how that affects everything else, in a real cosmological sense. Because I would love to like come back to this setting at some point, not Serragon specifically necessarily, but like another planet in this setting, and be like, oh yeah, like there's Dylan shows up as a god to say something.
Yeah, I was thinking right? I was like, you can use them as like now
one of you becomes a world hopper, right?
Isn't there a legacy game where you play gods?
We play gods, yeah.
I was gonna say you could play legacy games as these characters.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Yeah,
that would be funny.
Yeah, cool. All right, I think we can probably wrap it up there. I don't know if there's a whole lot else to talk about, and we don't have enough time to jump into anything. But I'm glad we have this conversation. I think this was good to get our ducks in a row and figure out where we're going with the characters. And then we'll start season 6 next time. I guess it was kind of the start of season 6. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should this be an official episode number, or should I make it like a?
No, this is season 5, part 3.
Yeah,
I see.
I don't know that this would be like a regular episode that most people would like. You know what I mean? Like most of the stuff we talked about should be coming up later, anyways. So I'm not sure people are going to want to listen.
It could be bonus content. No, you wouldn't want bonus content. We just talked about what we're going to do.
I did make our kind of episode 0 for season 3 as not a full episode. It's kind of like its own like
it could be a 0
session 0 thingy.
Okay.
So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just say like session, pre-game for season 6 or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, cool stuff. Thanks for playing, guys. I'm excited for next time. We'll go and call it here. Adios.